Hello, everyone. It is Dr. Jamar Montgomery of drjamarmontgomery.com. And I'm here because I was looking through some of my notes and came across some of my reflections that I had when I came back from the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland earlier this year. And I'll just go ahead and get directly into it. We've been trying to create a framework that prevents bad things from happening, like the overbearing helicopter parent who wishes to protect their children from the harsh realities of life. We are trying to protect humanity from its ignorant and sometimes self destructive nature. However, we end up not preparing our children for the harsh realities of life when we are no longer around to protect them. We are treating AI like a child, something that we raise up. Yet, we are removing the personal responsibility from the individual and putting it on the AI. This is the wrong thing to do and the wrong way to do it. We talk about guardrails, and in essence, we don't want AI doing bad things. Unfortunately, criminal and evil innovation is something we must account for. AI will be put to good use and put to bad use. However, we must minimize the incentives for bad conduct rather than minimize the capabilities of AI because we are afraid of bad conduct. We are afraid of proliferating hate speech. However, we have shown that it is okay to hate evil. Unfortunately, evil is in the eye of the beholder. Just because the majority determines something as evil doesn't make it okay to disenfranchise the minority that doesn't see it as evil. This is not a moral discussion, but a practical one. If our goal is to protect marginalized populations and groups, then the marginalization doesn't stop with racial or economic lines or categories, but applies to cultures, values, ethics, political beliefs, and ideologies and religions. The rights and freedoms are protected when we protect the freedoms and rights of those we detest and vehemently disagree with. I'll say that again. Our rights and freedoms are protected when we protect the rights and freedoms of those we detest and vehemently disagree with. We are being drawn into a culture war driven by identity politics in democratic and representative societies. The identity politics divides the poor and middle class into fractional groups held together by thin, fragile threads of intersectionality. An intersectionality that breaks the moment one group is seen as getting more attention or resources by the broader public. Did we ever ask who controls all the attention and resources of the broader public? The answer may surprise you. It's a tightly knit group of individuals whose strongest ties are that they are rich and wealthy and share the values of the right and left, but are highly interested and dedicated to remaining at the top, both economically and financially. This group sits on the boards of powerful companies and nonprofit organizations. They lead the world's largest companies in chief executive positions and buy media and advertisements on television, newspapers, and social media. It is a much more tightly knit group of economic and cognitive elites, seeing common cause as being a part of all while finding common cause of being part of the economic and cognitive elite. They share a common interest in remaining at the top while differing amongst their values. We're afraid to say the quiet part out loud because the adults in the room are acting like scared and timid children instead of dealing with the issues frankly and assertively. There will always be the Oppenheimers and Werner von Brauns whose geniuses created the world's most destructive devices and delivery systems. It is all about how we use that technology. Technology is neither good or evil. Technology is neutral. Its purpose and applications are determined by humans who make decisions on its use. Humans and our values, the intellectually dishonest and or hypocritical positions, is what creates all of these problems that society has. The AI only leverages those qualities. The AI is not utilizing logic, it is utilizing probability, at least from a large language model perspective. The AI is not racist, it only reveals previously hidden racism in the vast data sets we've created on the internet. We didn't realize how pervasive racism was until ChatGPT started calling black people niggers and monkeys. I'd much rather live in an honest and ugly world enhanced and improved by AI than a beautiful fantasy artificially created world of AI. We fear each other more than we fear cancer, AIDS, HIV, hunger, climate change. That's why AI weapons and AI leverage weapons will develop much faster than any cure for any disease or optimization of any problem, because the fear of others is our greatest fear. We are driven by fear, and no matter how sophisticated or cultured we are, every single last one of us are driven by fear. Those fears are all connected to Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Pharmaceutical companies fear cures because they are in the treatment business, not in the healing business. So there is an incentive to use AI in medicine development, but a limitation in AI's application in developing cures. We fear lack. Businesses fear lack of external problems because businesses make money from solving other people's problems. We think that once we solve the world's toughest problems, that new ones won't be created. That is the human condition, the fear of lack, when there is clear evidence of abundance in all around us. There's an abundance of problems, there's an abundance of new problems. We fear that AI will solve all of our problems and put everyone out of business. And that fear is preventing our own development and growth. We develop exponentially quicker if we face our problems head on, because as long as we live, there will be new problems. New problems force us to adapt and change and realize the amount of inefficiencies that are in our systems. Anytime there is resistance to curing inefficiency, start searching for who is getting paid from it and who benefits from it. How fast do we want to become an advanced society or species? Human consciousness must evolve. Human awareness must broaden and elevate. Technology is not the problem. Our unelevated consciousness and limited awareness is the problem. And those whose consciousness, awareness, and finances have been enlarged see the job of elevating the consciousness and awareness of those at the bottom as a job not worth the personal sacrifice. We're talking about personal responsibility. The personal responsibility of facing your problems head on and growing as a result. Is your growth my responsibility? Is your consciousness and awareness my responsibility? I had to fight my own self and my own self shortcomings, let alone the world, to become the person I am today. I had to deal with every problem I was faced with in order to grow. Your development is directly tied to how you deal with your problems. AI is here and is set to eliminate a number of jobs. How are you going to respond? Will you respond as a user, a builder, or a victim of AI? Are you going to see AI as a problem you can't overcome in your current self, or as an opportunity to grow in your future self? Our leaders are taking on the responsibility of making decisions for people who have ceded much of their personal responsibility to others. And these leaders are struggling to make decisions that benefit the most people and hurt the least amount of people. These are not mutually exclusive. I can still benefit in one way and hurt you in another. Our leaders of developed and industrialized nations are worried about their domestic workforces being obliterated by AI and are limiting and regulating how AI can be implemented in their countries. all while developing countries, aka the global south, whose domestic workforces can be jump started by AI, are looking to develop AI as quickly as possible. Domestic unemployment creates domestic unrest. Domestic unrest creates upheavals in government, and government upheaval signals global weakness. And thus, politicians have an interest in keeping their governments strong. Therefore, anything that threatens domestic employment will be regulated and or eliminated. Governments also have an interest in keeping their citizens blind as to just how behind they really are compared to the rest of the world. Once again, being driven by fear. This time, the fear of our politicians, they're afraid of losing their position. Without that technical advantage, you risk being subservient to another country that holds that technical advantage. In conclusion, AI is here to stay. We must learn how to use AI to grow faster, learn faster, and build faster. We cannot fear AI. We cannot fear problems. And we cannot fear the solutions. Thank you.